Coach Helmi, let's go back 3 months ago to the SEA Games in Manila. We sent an 8-member squad comprising 4 men, 4 women. You were in charge of the men's squad, and how would you sum up your campaign?
Of course, I think it would be better with more medals, but I think the men, the way they bowl in these SEA Games compared to the previous SEA Game is different. In KL, it's different. I think in this SEA Game they were not so afraid of their the other rivals. They weren't playing like scared. They tried their hearts out from the get-go in the singles all the way up. And even though we didn't get as many medals as we wished to, or we didn't even get the gold, but I think I seen the men's potential increase higher compared to the previous SEA Games. They don't play scared anymore.
I was like, I think 2 meters away from you when you're doing the team event. And then then watching all the celebrations from all the different teams. All crouching tiger, hidden dragon kind of moves on. It's amazing. I thought the footballers are the ones which had when they score a goal they have celebrations. The bowlers is a different. It's very nice. What is your take on Jerry's Go's performance in the men's step ladder Masters final?
I think it's a big step up for him. I think he really wants it because it's just right before he goes to army. So I think he really wants it, and with that kind of mentality, and he still managed to bowl his way through the Masters, and he was consistently there. So I think it's a good result. I think in the step ladder we didn't manage to match up to the lane well. There was a little bit different and so on. But I think it's a good performance by Jaris overall.
Okay. He won
the bronze medal
at
Masters.
Okay. We now come to Hui Fen and the women's campaign. What was the mission for your team before the start of the games? I mean, what did your team have in mind and what was your objective?
Team goal. Actually, before Worlds, it was also team goal.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
My objective would be for that SEA Games and for every competition is to show up for every shot. Like really give my all and be 100% present. Just focus on my breathing and be very aware of how I'm feeling. That's all.
Yeah. Well, the train started rolling when you went on to win the women's singles gold, and then your teammate Shayna Ng took home the bronze medal. What did it mean to end that decade on a high?
It means I get to enjoy my holiday in peace.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Okay. In what way did your coach Jason Yong Nathan play in his role as the women's team coach?
All along, Jay, he has been a mirror for all of us. Like he's very honest. Like if we are willing to ask him, like, okay, coach, what do you see? And he'll just give it to you straight away. Even if he feels like you're a bit resistant to change, he will still give it to you. And if you're still unwilling to change, then he will like, okay, then he'll try another time. But he's always that mirror for us.
Wow.
Yeah.
The man in the mirror.
Yeah,
nice.
something like that.
Yeah. Jessie, we had bowlers in the top 3. We saw the Tan sisters, Daphne and Sherry. They finished in 5th and 13th places respectively. Were you surprised to see Sherry, who was the defending SEA Games singles champion and the winner of the 2019 the PWBA Players Championship, sort of face difficulties and struggle in the singles in Manila?
I really don't look at them as every time I go to tournaments, I look at them as individuals and I see how they match up to the challenge. And to me, that's more important. Shot making, sometimes the equipment may be off, but what I like to see is resilience. Do you have the capability, do you have it within you to say, okay, how am I going to pull myself out of this? And that's what I look for all the time. I love to see fire and character in my athletes. And if they're frazzled by little hiccups, the next time the coaches put up that name, I may not be so supportive. To me, I think the resilience, the fire, and the ability to say, look, I'm not throwing in the towel yet. I'm giving it everything I have to see how I'm going to bring it to the finish line. And it doesn't matter if you're not first to the finish line. I like to see strong finish. I like to see passion all the way to the end. You have a Singapore flag on you. You must certainly have pride in that. It has to be a strong finish. And okay, you can't win all the time, but all your country asks of you is your very best. Have you given your very best? And that's all I ask.
Okay. After the singles campaign came the team events, and this seemed like an all-out battle against Causeway rivals Malaysia. What did you say to the women's team before they began their campaign?
Actually, I'm not allowed to say much to them. The reality is that I'm not the sports psychologist.
Okay.
I could say the wrong thing to them and it's going to unhinge everything. It's really all up to them. It's in their hands. I said, look, the ball is in your hand, literally. What you plan to do with it, do you want to, every time you go out to a championship, I always tell them, and just now you mentioned, when they went to PWBA, how does it feel to bowl amongst the giants? Excuse me, we have a few of giants in Singapore too. They are there and there are no walkovers. The PWBA, other bowlers have already found that out. They're not minions anymore. They are powerhouse that, we even say, how often do they show up? And I like to see it show up more often. I've always told the team, look, you may or may not be aware of it. You are one of the best team in the world. How are you going to make that go down in history as a record that is going to be hard to beat is entirely in your hands. We all know you are so talented, you have the capability. History is really in your hands.
I think it's a question of more about consistency.
I think it's the belief.
Yeah.
And I'm so happy, I very proudly, announced to one and all, we're the only sport in Singapore, and I'm not talking about individual, we're talking about team sport. We're the only sport in Singapore for team to have medal at the world level for women, men, and youth. Wow. That's a super wow.
Yeah, it's brilliantly done so far. Hui Fen, we're still on the SEA Games. I was there filming you guys, and when did you know that victory was already in sight as the goal was won with a margin of only 30 pinfalls over Malaysia? This has been building up since 2017. This whole thing about trying to beat Malaysia, because I think they beat us in KL in 2017, 2018 in Singapore as well, 2015 as well in the SEA Games.
Yes.
Yeah, so this was a long time coming. So when did you know the goal is already in sight for the team event?
When Sherry was about to step up, right, then Dev, Shay and I, we were like hugging each other.
Yeah.
Then Jay told us like, oh, Sherry needs the first strike, and like that's it.
Was this the 10th frame?
This 10th frame, before she went up for the 10th frame. So when she got that strike, I don't think Sherry know at this point. Yeah, then we all just shout and everything like that. Yeah, I think that's when we knew we were wrong.
Okay.
Yeah.
But actually, Malaysia already conceded defeat.
Yeah.
Into the 8th frame, they came up shaking my hand. I went like, don't spook it, okay? Don't spook it. We're rivals and yet we're friends. And that's what I love about this rivalry.
And how did it feel ending an 8-year drought as far as the team goal is concerned?
It's just great lah. It's just great. I don't know. The team dynamic was, I felt like even though they were the same people from Worlds, but the energy and the chemistry was just really different, and it was just very fun. It's very fun.
Okay.
Yeah.
Helmi, so just after the team events, the men's quartet still had one bronze medal to show for by Rehan. Hence, with only the Masters competition still remaining, did you hope the boys could finish in the top 3, or was the regional competition, our other opponents, were they just too tough for us to medal?
I think I expected the men's team to finish at least in the top 3, but I think things don't go your way sometimes, in the first few games, and we found ourselves a bit far. But the boys didn't give up, because we had a total of 6 games to bowl. So after the first block, we sat down, we talked, say, we are away from this much. We tell ourselves that there is a possibility of catching up. You won't know until the last ball is being thrown, and the boys just gave it all. So even though starting the second block we were far away, but you see that the boys and the Malaysia fans, if you remember the Harimau fans, we were there. We were just
the Malaysian fans were right behind you.
We were just, and we also gave it our Singapore flavor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you also introduced the Spartans into it. Right? What was it? I think no, it was a AU.
Because the Harimau, they were right.
Exactly.
Then we did our own version.
That's why I say crouching tiger, hidden
Hidden
dragon,
dragon.
all over the place in the bowling
Yeah,
alley.
yeah.
So we know that Jerry's
There's a lot of mind game going on.
Yeah, yeah.
There's a lot of mind
Exactly,
game.
yeah.
And you know, and we you know, Sid and the team went through this. Look, there's a lot of mind game going on in things like this, and it's the one who is mentally stronger to void out all this and put head down and commit to it. That's what makes the difference.
Yeah, yeah. So we know that Jerry's go won the bronze in the Masters. He's now serving his national service. When he shaved his head, it was all over social media. Remember the first time he shaved his head. So how much of an impact will his absence mean to the men's team?
Of course, his absence will make an impact, but I think the amount of talent we have in the team, I think it can cover up for him. So for him, I don't think he really miss training now, because he still comes in every weekend. So even though he goes to army Mondays to Friday, I think ever since his confinement week is over, he's been showing up for training every Saturday.
Oh, wow.
Unless he cannot, like this weekend he got gun duty, so he got no choice. But their commitment, I think not only him, I think most of my boys are in the army. Sorry, most of my men that are in the army have shown that type of commitment. Of course, we understand that sometimes that weekend they have that family dinner. So I always tell them, I think in that 1 month, if you think you need to have that one family dinner, I think it's okay. I understand that, but they also understand the commitment that they have, that they need to show up for training Saturday, Sunday, as much as they can. And every player so far has been committed to it.
It shows that bowling is still their first love, first priority.
Yeah.
Hui Fen, with 2 gold medals already in the bag, you went on to compete in the Masters, and lo and behold, you became the bowling queen in Manila 2019 when you won the Masters title with only a 12-point margin over your Malaysian opponent. Can you describe that Masters campaign for us?
It's a bit dramatic. I didn't intend for it to be so dramatic, like 2 tiebreakers.
I think no one could script it. No one could script it. And what a finale, right?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it was heart stopping. It was heart stopping for us. I'm sure it was heart stopping for her as well. But no one could have scripted it that way, So that's when you think she had it. Oh my God! And then she lost it. Then when the other girl had it and she lost it, we're like, what's going on? It's returning favors.
Yeah, after the second tie, then because I had my team on the other lanes, and I was looking at Shay. Then Shay gave me the face like, "Hui, don't waste time, already. Just win it, Give me the. She like,
just close the deal.
Yeah, she said, don't waste time, already. Then okay. So I tried my best.
Great job. And speaking of Shay, Shayna Ng, she finished in 3rd place, just as the 2 of you did so in the singles competition. So a quick word on Shay as well.
It just shows how consistent she has been for the SEA Games, and throughout the entire year. I mean, she also won a PWBA stop as well. Yeah. So she has been very consistent.
Okay. Jessie, in the Masters, we did see Sherry finish overall in 4th place and only 5 pins off the bronze medal. So on the whole, what is your reaction to the women bringing home 3 gold medals, 2 bronzes as compared to 1 gold from the 2017 SEA Games?
I have to say the spirit of the team for this last SEA Games campaign has been very different from the previous campaigns. I can definitely sense the camaraderie a lot stronger, a lot closer, and the desire to bring it home for Singapore is so very strong, and so. Coach will tell you, when I get a bit jittery, I will go like, okay, so what's going on, guys, and all that. But I left them all alone this year. For the last SEA Games, I left them alone because look, I can't ask for more from this team. You know that their heart is, they've given all already. If it happens, it happens. I could not ask for more because that was all we asked of them, for them to really be there 100%, give it their all. And if the medals fall in place, it fall in place. The men's display, the performance is a very good indicator of the spirit. You see, Jaris he should be deflated. I mean, so many days of going day after day after day, packing at it, and going home empty-handed. you know what kind of the
Yeah.
kind of
What-
emotions
yeah.
he has to go through. No, he put his head down, came back so very strongly for the Masters. It's really it tells it all.
And what would you say was the main difference in the women's teams in 2017 and 2019? And how did the Malaysian women, I got to ask you, how did the Malaysian women go from 3 gold medals in 2017 on home ground to nothing in Manila?
I will not say anything that is not deserving of the Malaysian team. I always hold them in the highest respect. If there is a team in the world that has spirit, that is the team. If I can put it, very politely, in our sport, Lady Luck does have a play, and Lady Luck just decide to look a little bit more our direction. And our team have worked very hard for the last few SEA Games campaign as well.
Yes,
We don't know what happened, that they didn't make it happen. Look, if you look at the SEA Games in Singapore, my God, you look at the Masters, 1 to 5 all Singapore ladies. You have to chop off one of their limbs for them to lose the team event, and we lost the team event. I was in total shock.
Yeah.
I mean, literally have to chop off one of their limbs for them not to come home with the gold, but it happened. So in sport, and which is why the newspapers and the sports journalists are still in business, because there's no such thing as a sure thing. It's the unexpected, and that's what gives sports that different element of surprise. I wouldn't say the win was a surprise; it was deserving, but so has it been for Malaysia every time when they won, because to be very honest, they work very hard too. Every time we go out there, the opponents that our bowlers are pitched against, they're also utterly committed, highly talented athletes they're competing against. And it's so, it's like, did that happen for you this time? Things fall in place. If it fall in place, then it's your turn. But believe you me, every single time they meet out there in competition, none of this team got up there by fluke. Everyone worked their butts out.
Yeah.
And everyone who stepped on the podium, I have the highest respect for them, because I know what went into the preparation. I know what sacrifices they made. And everyone is deserving of it.
Nice. And that is our look at the SEA Games for Team Singapore. Job well done for
Thank
the
you so
entire
much.
team. Well
Thank
done,
you.
guys. Well
Thank you
done.
so much.